The Chinese New Year holiday usually starts on the day of New Year's Eve and ends on the Lantern Festival, 15 days after the New Year. An abnormal phenomenon occurred during this Chinese New Year holiday. People in many places return to work early. The main reason is because of the fierce competition for jobs. After the Spring Festival, it's time for these migrant workers to go to the city to work. They don't leave on the date as they did in previous years. Some leave on the 9th, some on the 6th, or even as early as the 3rd day after Chinese New Year. Before the holiday period is over, they already leave their parents, wives, and children again and rush back to their jobs. For middle-aged people, especially many middle-aged workers, the most embarrassing thing is that they are not willing to go back to their hometown and stay in the countryside. But it's so hard to afford to live in the city. On the one hand, no jobs in the city. On the other hand, people wouldn't like to be peasants anymore. The countryside is wide enough, but it's desolate and there's nothing to do here. The city is full of hope, but now you can't find the foothold. Now, many Chinese people have to face the harsh reality of unemployment. A 36-year-old divorced and unemployed woman said, "Since I became unemployed, I feel like I can't bear it any longer. I feel more and more confused and can't break through my current situation. I'm not interested in anything. The pressure of rent and the trouble of 3 meals a day make me more and more anxious. Seeing my wallet getting smaller and smaller every day, I really don't know what I should do in the future. I don't dare to call my parents to ask for money because I dare not let them know that I haven't been to work for a long time. I just don't want to add to their troubles and make them anxious, which will also add pressure on myself invisibly. I have been unemployed for 7 months. I will be 30 years old in July this year. I have no savings, no apartment, and no car. I graduated from Boston University in the US with a degree in film and television in 2016. It has been nearly 7 months since last August, and I have not had a formal job that can offer 5 insurance and funds for 7 months. I was born in 1984. I am 41 years old this year. I have been unemployed for a year and a half, and I went for interviews at 2 companies today but was rejected by both. The reason is because I am too old. When I opened the recruitment software, jobs like food delivery, courier, housekeeping, security guy, and DD kept being recommended to me. How many of you told your parents that you were going to work after the New Year, but actually went out to look for a job? Or even didn't get any interview invitations and just lay in your rented room all day? I wonder if those who are unemployed now are anxious. I lost my job because my company suddenly went bankrupt and my social insurance payments have not been paid for over a year. I was looking for a job last year and have communicated with nearly 8,000 companies. Before the Chinese New Year, when I thought about being unemployed, I could use excuses to self-comfort, such as, "The New Year is coming soon, there are not many good jobs, let's see after the New Year, etc." Now, the Chinese New Year is over, I feel anxious and don't know what to do next. Thinking back to last year, I was just like many other people. I went out aimlessly, stayed in nearly 30 hotels, and talked to almost 200 HR persons. In fact, sometimes I have to go out of home even though I haven't arranged any interviews because I have to bear tremendous mental pressure from my parents when I stay at home. Gradually, I began to like hiding in the corner of the room alone and didn't like turning on the lights. Sometimes, even though I knew there would be no updated hiring information in the middle of the night, I still habitually open the recruitment software until after 3 o'clock in the morning. People may often tell you to just find a survival job, but what these people don't know is that each industry is a circle, and if you keep on doing those survival jobs, you may never step out of that circle. Some people may say you must be overambitious, but don't let other people's views and words affect your pace because people who have not experienced it cannot empathize with you. But you have to believe that it'll pass. In Shanghai, one of China's largest cities, unemployment is serious too. Brothers, I am unemployed in Shanghai. Does anyone have any good jobs to recommend? It's too difficult this year. I almost have no money to eat. Brothers. I have a master's degree and have been unemployed for 40 days. I still haven't found a job. I want to talk to you about the recent employment environment in Shanghai. It's really a bit bad, which I have not expected. I have submitted hundreds of resumes, but only had 3 interviews so far. Do you know how many people have lost their jobs in Shanghai this year? The current employment problem is really bad. Many people are still in the office in the morning, but the team is disbanded and they are laid off in the afternoon. The main reason is the poor economic situation. I have a client who has worked in the company for more than 2 years. His boss now has no money to pay his salary. He appealed to the relevant department, but in the end, he only got 40% of his unpaid wages. Now he is forced to return to his hometown. After losing their jobs, many people choose to deliver food as a temporary transition, and many of the delivery men are former white-collar office workers. I have a bachelor's degree. My last job was in an office. I quit my job and started working as a delivery guy. You are the top delivery guy. How long can you run in a day? To complete more than 100 orders, if everything goes well, it will take at least 14 or 15 hours. If things don't go well, it will take 17 or 18 hours. But now, with the serious deterioration of China's overall economy, such jobs are becoming difficult to do. If you haven't found a job, don't come to Shanghai yet. Find a job first, then come back, because things will not be the same as before when you can't find a job. You can still do the food delivery first. Right now, on the side of the road, downstairs from our subway entrance, there are more than 20 delivery men sitting on the side of the road at noon, and they have no orders and no work to do. Last year, my friend was delivering food as a survival job. He was able to earn $27.50 a day. Now, based on the number of takeout orders at noon, I feel like the delivery guy can hardly make $14 a day. The severity of China's unemployment rate is obvious. This lady predicts that most of the small businesses will not survive the year 2025. I'm going to tell you the truth, and many people may not want to hear it. Most of us will probably not survive 2025, mainly because there is too little money in the market. Because now many large companies around us are laying off employees on a large scale, the capital chains of small companies have been broken. So the merchants' goods are piling up and they cannot be sold. Ordinary people are finding it difficult to find jobs, their incomes are decreasing, and flowing cash is becoming less and less. When business is difficult, people's lives will certainly be difficult. Those small businesses which are already struggling to survive now are on the brink of life and death. Is this a temporary predicament or a normal situation in the future? Can we all make it through? These words also express the concerns and uncertainties of the future that many business owners have. For the CCP, it's difficult for them to come up with effective policies to solve the problems, but they cannot be stopped by offering bad ideas. The cutthroat competitions will be introduced into the countryside in 2025. Before the Chinese New Year, staff from the Chamber of Commerce and the county government came and asked us to return to our hometowns to start businesses and invest. When I went home for the Chinese New Year, the village party secretary was also counting this matter. As long as there are people in the village doing business outside, they could be counted. The current policy of the Chinese government is to revitalize the countryside and encourage young people to return to their hometowns to run businesses. I have observed that 95% of the people doing business in the city are making losses. Only a very small number of people can make money, and the majority is losing money. The city has no room for destructive competitions. What people could do in the countryside, alas. It seems that the CCP's sweet talk of encouraging young people to return to their hometowns to start up businesses is no longer able to deceive ordinary people. In such an economic environment, those who buy apartments and have to pay a mortgage every month are really suffering. I congratulate those who have not bought an apartment yet, because you have successfully avoided a big trap, a super huge trap. I bought an apartment last year and have lost almost $70,000 so far. The monthly mortgage payment is $825, not including interest. Now I really understand what people used to say. Working so hard every month, you are actually working for the bank. On the 10th of every month, the bank will automatically deduct $825 from my bank card. I feel very sad. This is the hard-earned money, but now it has been taken away. I feel very uncomfortable and don't want to go through the process of paying off a loan. I was quite impulsive when I first bought an apartment because I had always rented a place before. I just wanted to have a small apartment where I could have a place to stay and live more comfortably. Now I find that renting is better because it's really less stressful. The monthly mortgage is $825 and my monthly salary is $1,650. I am really angry about having to transfer $1,375 to the bank. The most important thing is that the property price fell by nearly $70,000, and that is not including the interest. If the interest is included, the drop would be even greater. So unless you are buying an apartment for the purpose of getting married or something like that, ordinary people like us should never buy an apartment. Really, 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 never buy an apartment. It's too horrible. While people are feeling enormous employment pressure, the Chinese Communist Party is enthusiastically launching so-called high-tech measures to snatch the limited employment opportunities. If you ask me what kind of era this is, I will tell you without hesitation that this is an era that eliminates the poor. Some people say that the trend of labor jobs will end in 2026, and in the future the current working man may become a thing of the past. This is by no means an exaggeration. Just at the end of last year, Gree realized a dark reality. The work that used to require tens of thousands of people now only requires more than 1,000 people. A factory in Guangzhou that originally required 100 people only needs managers for 2 workshops after being equipped with robots. Ideal Auto's unmanned workshop can produce 1,800 cars a day. Didi has also announced that it will mass-produce driverless cars in 2025. And this is just the beginning. Unmanned hotels, unmanned supermarkets, unmanned parking lots, and even unmanned stadiums, one unmanned area after another, are rapidly expanding. Not long ago, the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology issued a notice saying that China's invisible robots would be mass-produced and fully enter the market in 2025. It's estimated that the labor cost of these robots is only 0.5% of that of humans, which is much more cost-effective than hiring humans. However, ordinary people will face more than just this. Duo Makai will replace the uncles and aunts in the grocery markets, intelligent AI will take away white-collar jobs, and driverless cars will replace online car-hailing drivers. The top internet-selling celebrities have hit thousands of physical stores. The above scenes won't be shown at the 2025 Chinese Spring Festival Gala produced by China's national TV station. The grand celebration cost a huge amount of money without any trace of the suffering of the Chinese people. This is what the Chinese government has always been promoting and using to brainwash the people. It's just that under the impact of suffering, the Chinese people nowadays are more willing to believe in the real experiences in their lives, and the brainwashing techniques of the Beijing authorities are becoming less and less effective.